So this dish kind of embodies everything that we're trying to do here at 11 Madison with food and with the experience. And that is, like, for me, the best dishes are the ones that are very simple, they are delicious, but they're also inspired, they're creative, and they tie in the place. So here we're in New York City, and New York has this long history of steak tartares. You know, the steak houses from like Delmonico's, the 21 Club, the Four Seasons, they all have their version of steak tartare. So it's a dish that we've been looking at for a while, and to be honest, this dish has taken about 2 years to really come together. You know, we're grinding meat, and we realized that we wanted to do a table side, but then it felt like, well, just grinding meat is not that creative. It's maybe cool, but not that creative. And it was this one day, I remember, it was in the late summer, and I went up to the Hudson Valley, and I was working on the book, I Love New York. And that's been a really inspirational time for me. Just get to know the place, which is New York. And in particular, the Hudson Valley is one of the best farming regions probably in the world, because it's along the river, which is amazing because of the sunlight. It reflects the sun. But it has this incredible soil that they call it muck soil. And it's pitch black, and it's full of nutrients, and it's amazing for growing root vegetables. So it was this one day I was visiting this farmer, Alex Pathenrod, and you know, he's been farming for 35 years in the same area, and he's specialized in carrots. And for the last 10 years he's really specialized in carrots, and maybe he has like 60 different types of carrots. And that day he was telling me for like 5 hours about carrots. And I was like, you know, give me a break. Like, I can't hear about carrots anymore. I know you love your carrots, but enough. But at the same time, I came back here, I was really inspired. And I was walking into the front door with a whole case of all these different carrots that he gave me. And during the same time, my sous chefs were back in the kitchen kind of working on this dish. And the meat grinder was on the table with all the garnishes. And I had this case of carrots, and the guy telling me about carrots for the past, you know, day. And I'm like, what about if we use carrots? Because carrots is a product from the area, one of the best you can find, and the dish is very New York. So when the two come together, I think that creates a cuisine, right? When history and ingredients of a place come together. And so, you know, everyone looked at me and kind of thought I'm crazy, but then we tried it, and we cooked the carrots lightly, and we put them through the meat grinder, and we mixed them with all the ingredients, and I think everyone was pretty blown away, because the carrots do have that meatiness. They have also a little sweetness, so they have similar characteristics like the meat does. And that was kind of it. I mean, you know, we said, okay, we figured it out. And sometimes that's how it happens. It was like pure, it was like totally out of coincidence. But looking back, I think definitely the dish embodies what we stand for. There's also, you know, it's very interactive. So, you know, a meal here can take 3 hours. And I think there needs to be some theater to the meal. It can't just be plate after plate after plate. I think it needs to be more fun. There needs to be things in the middle of the table. There needs to be things that the guests can participate. And you know, when you're in a fine dining restaurant and in the middle of the meal somebody screws this old school meat grinder on the table, I think people get pretty curious. They're like, what's going on now? You know, oh, it's going to be meat, and then, you know, we come out and with these beautiful carrots, and people, you know, talk about it, and I think it's a surprise. And when we can surprise the guests, you know, a lot of the people here in New York, the diners are jaded. They've seen everything, they've been everywhere, And I think we need to constantly think about how we can surprise them.